already. And at the very end, she's going to take some questions from all of you, and which I encourage you to stick around and ask her, because she's going to be talking about stuff we haven't talked about much in recent months. And we're very honored that she is not only with our company, but that she's okayed and not only approved, but said yes, I guess. Accepted, that's the word. Accepted our Agent of the Month honors for her, because, you know, she's been nominated many times, and this time she was nominated most by all of you in the field. So congratulations to her, because it was the voting of peers that brought her to the top this time. And then, of course, we had unanimous inside the corporation. Yeah, that's a great choice. So we're glad that she's accepted. But you're going to hear some neat things from Harlequin, because she's doing things differently than some of the people have talked about over the last few months. She's doing a lot of association work, a lot of chamber work, a lot of networking through people, networking through business owners to more business owners, to association markets, and she's having success with that. And so it's going to be great for that, for you to get some training on that as well. But one thing I can say about Harlequin before we bring her on is she is not only a student of this and really getting the answers from the DAC rules and regulations to the DAC method of operation on what is the way we do this, what is the right way to build DAC. Not only does she know the right way and teach it, she understands all the rules and regulations and teaches them. She understands the industry outside of just DAC funding. She's worked with other type of fundings like SBA fundings and firms like that. So she understands where we fit in the space of funding. So you've got a depth of knowledge there. It doesn't matter. She could come in and become a rep support department, a leader in our company immediately. She could go in and work on the funding side immediately. She could go in and work on the training side immediately. That's the type of experience she brings to the table and that you have available to. So with that depth, she has a well, and of that well of understanding, it overflows to people. So she can share things from that well of understanding that is really, really, it edifies all of us. And so I just encourage you to, when you see her respond with something, read how she responds to it. She doesn't just write a sentence and answer it on Facebook. There's a lot of experience that goes into that sentence. So she's not been with us 2 months and guessing and thinking it's right with a good heart. She's got the experience as well. But we're very proud to have her as an agent with DAC. I love the emails I get from her and the comments she'll make to me or the text she sends me, because they're always things that edify our company and make it better. And it's never a concern when Harlequin reaches out to me, because I know she wouldn't be reaching out if there wasn't a real issue or a real exciting thing to talk about. And I'm just so grateful for that, because we need people in our sales organization who can be leaders and help police the organization, but also help promote new ideas. And Harlequin is one of them. So we're so thankful to have her, and we're glad that she was nominated and accepted as our Agent of the Month. So everyone, if you could welcome to our screen our Agent of the Month for April, Harlequin Murray. Harlequin, I love all the stars. How are you doing, Harlequin?
I had to get extra stars. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
I've got a new camera and a new microphone. So,
well, you look great and you sound great.
Thank you. Well, thank you for all the kind words you said about me. Sometimes you just go and say, well, gee, you know, but I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm super excited. And as you can see, I've got extra stars out today. Had to have those out. I even have one in front of me right here. So it's always right next to my computer, reminding me. But anyways, well, thank you so much, David. I appreciate it.
You bet. Well, we're honored. I love all the stars. And, you know, there's in the battle of business, if it is a battle, you go into battle with your team, right? And there's an army of people behind DAC, and you're one of the generals who are helping to lead that army. So just thank you so much for all you do behind the scenes that we don't even see. I'm sure there's just many things that you buffer and receive from your teams that never make it to the corporate people, because you've dealt with it and you've handled it. And we just can't thank you enough for your leadership.
I appreciate that. And
You bet.
actually, my team doesn't know it yet, but I've come up with a name for my team. We're going to be the
What's
Star
that?
Maker team.
Star Maker. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
So,
it.
because we're all trying to reach 1 star and above in longevity, but also we're helping our business owner clients become stars themselves. So,
Amen. I love it. Star Maker. Beautiful. Well, and you are a superstar. So as a superstar, it's a lot easier to create stars when you are a superstar. So congratulations. I love the name. Great choice. Well, why don't we, for the people who've never seen your last Agent of the Month interview, and so they don't know much about your background, why don't you share a little bit about yourself and what brought you into this industry and why DAC?
okay, sure. To start off with, I'm originally from San Diego, California. So I am a West Coast girl originally, but my family moved around a lot when I was a child. I actually ended up, we moved, what was it? My parents figured out on their 21st anniversary, they had lived in 21 different places, and I was with them for 20 of those moves. So, growing up, the longest I was ever in one place was 4 years. And in high school, I was in 4 different high schools in 3 different countries. So that kind of impacts
Oh yeah.
what you think and what you do and that type of thing. But yeah, my family left Southern California. We lived in Sweden for a couple of years. We lived in Peru for about a year and a half, lived in Canada for about a year and a half. And I ended up graduating high school in New Jersey and went to Rutgers. So go Big Ten. I know you can
Yes.
support that, David. But anyways, I studied economics and political science in college. And after I got out of school, my first job, I worked at number 2 Wall Street in Manhattan for a Japanese bank doing major international loans, like the government of Argentina is restructuring their loans, that type of thing. So that's where I originally got my banking experience, but left there and went into investment banking until the stock market crashed, and then lost my job. And I've worked in insurance. I've managed an insurance agency at one point. Lived in South Carolina, and then my family had moved down to Georgia, to the Atlanta area, and I moved down here. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago. It was a long time ago. But anyways, we ended up moving down here, and it was kind of a challenge because I went from working in Manhattan to, at one point, I lived in Columbia, South Carolina, which is a much smaller market, and then moved to Atlanta, which is bigger, but it's still not Manhattan. But I've held multiple jobs throughout my career, doing sales, marketing. I was a professional vampire at one point. And with that, I came up with that name because if you tell somebody that you're a blood donor recruiter, half the people are going to run away from you. And, one of the things that I think about with DAC is, it's actually easier to get money from people than to get blood. So, I literally had people giving me money instead of, they're like, here, I'll give you money, but no way am I going to get blood.
So you worked for the Red Cross or someone asking people to donate blood?
I actually did not work for Red Cross. I worked for Life South, which is in the Southeast, and then for Atlanta Blood Service, which is a small group that works with leukemia and lymphoma patients.
Okay, but you were recruiting people to donate blood. So when you
Correct.
said professional vampire, I thought like you were an actress or something, like you played a vampire, but I get what you mean. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
well, like I said, if I told people I was a blood donor recruiter, half the time they'd run away from me. If I told them I was a professional vampire, they'd kind of laugh. They'd be like, well, what are you talking about? And so
you you put a spin on it. You
I put a
spun
spin
it a
on
little
it.
bit, and yeah, very cool. So
And
that you're doing that, and how do you get into where we are today?
well, I have done network marketing for many, many years.
Mhm.
I started about the same time you did. I was with Amway and had some success with that, got to the Ruby level, which, at that point, I was actually speaking in front of coliseums of like 10,000 people. So that was kind of interesting. But, during that time, I got married and got divorced and kind of left that. But anyways, along the way, I met Ellen Wynn working at a company where she was actually the national training director. And we have been friends ever since. We've been friends for over 15 years now. And, we've done a couple of things off and on. And about 4 years ago, she talked to me about DAC. And at the time, it was not the right time for me. And so I said, nope, not interested, not right now. And about a year later, it was time. Things in my life had changed. I had more availability of time to do it. And I also had a couple of people, Bob Amato, who's on here, was like, Harlequin, if you don't sign up today, I'm going to sign up, because he also knows Ellen. I had introduced him to Ellen years ago. But
So what was
anyway,
it
so
about
that's how I got started.
DAC? What was it about DAC that you said, okay, I want to be involved? Because there's many opportunities out there. Why did you say yes to DAC?
I've done a lot of product sales and, doing the business to consumer. And to be honest, I got tired of it, dealing with individuals every time. And whenever you're doing that, it's hard to make a big impact. And also, yeah, oh yeah, I made a sale, and I made $5. I'll admit it, I'm going to be 60 in a couple of months. I don't have a retirement account. So I've got to do something where I can make bigger money. And so that's part of the reason why
You're playing.
DAC.
First of all, you look great. So
Thank you.
sharing your age shows that you're obviously taking care of yourself too. But there's a lot of people. In fact, over half the population is in your same shoes, right? Nearing an age where you want to retire and not having retirement set aside yet. And that's a big part of our pay plan. I mean, what you're talking about, you probably remember a video we did in the past about catching up with your retirement. It was a big push we had. Maybe it's not even on our Vimeo anymore, but it was like, you don't have a retirement set aside yet, or you want to catch up, or you want to improve it. Here's the way you can. This is a solution. And so there's a lot of people in the same situation you are. And you're here, you're doing the right thing. So you're looking for, you want to be in a business where you can make some impact, make some money, and also get yourself set up for your future retirement, right?
Yeah.
And so this is why you say yes to DAC. So tell us a little bit about what you've encountered and kind of where you're at today.
Okay. Well, just stepping back for one quick second, part of the reason why I wanted to work with businesses is through working with the blood bank. And prior to that, I was doing corporate sales where I have a huge network of businesses that I know that I've worked with. So, that, and the other thing too is I've also owned my own business. I actually haven't worked in a corporate office type job in years. So, and to be honest, I don't want to go back to that. I'm miserable working 9 to 5 in a office situation. But with DAC, when I first got started, I wasn't the shooting star at that point. It took me a while. And to be honest, back when I joined about 3 years ago, we didn't have the things that we have now. We ended up, we had our basic DAC funding. We had, identity theft. We had the roadside assistance and the tech support that we no longer have. And, the business has grown tremendously in the last 3 years. And David, you have done an amazing job with that.
Thank you.
Because the new things that we've been adding make it so much easier to go and talk to business owners. Because, we just have a lot more options, and we can also work with different size businesses as well.
Sure.
The new line of credit program is phenomenal, and I'm getting so much positive feedback from business owners on that.
So for the brand new people, I know you're going to talk a little bit about how you're doing, how you go about your basic daily method of operation. But for the brand new people who are maybe this is their first Agent of the Month interview they've watched, they just got started with us. What encouragement would you have for any of them? I mean, they may have questions for you, but you have any words of encouragement for anyone that's brand new and who's been around?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing I can say is don't give up. You're going to have, there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. There's going to be days when you have somebody like my first client, when I talked to him about the requirements, I asked him, do you have any bounce checks? And he's like, no, I don't. And come to find out, he had 15 NSFs in the last 30 days. So, things like that are going to happen. Don't take it personally. If you think about it, I wrote a note down here that I wanted to, sometimes with what we do, it may be a little bit more expensive than, the money cost might be a little bit more expensive than they can afford. Just like if you go into a store and you see something that you fall in love with, it may not be on sale and you can't afford it, so you don't buy it. It doesn't mean you don't love the idea, you don't love the product, but it may just not fit into your budget right now. Or you may not have, in their case, they may not have an opportunity that they can take advantage of where it will make sense for them. They may be able to go and take that money and, maybe make 40-50% profit on it, but if they're having to pay for the funding, it's not going to make sense. But later on down the road, they might have an opportunity where they can double, triple, or quadruple the money, and they'll take advantage of it. So you can't take it personal that it doesn't fit into their budget for right now. Hey, Marlo.
Hey.
But anyways, so
I love that perspective. I love that perspective because we've all been there. Right. I mean, whether it's that house or that boat or that dress or that suit or the tennis shoes, whatever it is, that meal, there's always things that are priced at a level that is just not worth it for us. It doesn't mean anything negative about it. It's just not, it's beyond our ability or our affordability or our value. We just don't value that Lamborghini enough, whether you got the $250,000 or not, right? You don't need it that bad or that, whatever it is. I just love that analogy. There's so many ways you can go. That's very good. I've never heard that. That's great. Good stuff, Harlequin. I just learned something new.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But no, that's perfectly okay. But, anyways, even if you're new, first off, welcome. Make sure you do the training because that's where you're going to get your confidence when you're talking to somebody. If you don't have confidence, it's going to show. And they're going to say, well, yeah, that's nice, but they don't trust you yet. You have to, the question you have to ask yourself is when, practice with it. But if you don't trust what you're saying, why should anybody else? So that's part of the reason why I do training. Now, you can go way into training mode, as they say, and overdo it. You don't have to know absolutely everything, and people understand if you tell them that you don't know everything. But you at least have to have your basics down and know, what the requirements are, things like that. But one of the things that I've learned is if you're not where you want to be in your business right now, and you haven't done what you should do, okay, I need to go out and, talk to business owners, no matter what avenue you choose to do so, and you just haven't done it. The thing is, you need to forgive yourself. What's done is done. It's in the past. You can't change it. And if you go and sit there and put yourself down because you haven't done what you were supposed to do, you're just going to make yourself miserable. And you're going to keep doing that. You're going to get into that endless cycle where you don't do what you're supposed to do because you're beating yourself up about the fact that you didn't do it yesterday. And you're thinking so much about that today that you don't go out and do it. So, anyways.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome stuff, guys. When you think about this for everybody, what she just said, the mindset, how many times do we do that? And we paralyze ourselves, and that paralyzing feeling can go on for months, even years, because we give up on ourselves. We shame ourselves right into submission instead of like Harlequin said, if you can forgive yourself for your past mistakes or past inactivity, if you don't forgive yourself, you will never get out of that paralysis. So great point, Harlequin. I love that you shared it. And the mindset is the most important. And without forgiving our mistakes, the works of the flesh take over, and we'll talk ourselves out of everything. We'll shame ourselves out of even starting. So great stuff. I love it. Keep going, Harlequin. I'm just going to sit back and learn.
Okay. Well, another thing, when you're talking to people, be it a business owner or a prospective agent or an agent that signed up, sometimes they're not going to respond right away, or they're not going to respond the way that you expect, or they say they're going to do something and they don't do it. Don't get mad at your team and say, oh, well, they're not doing anything. Look at yourself. What can you do? And do that. But one of the things, and I'm going to share something here that I haven't shared before. You don't always know what that person is going through. They could have a family member that's dying, or has a major health issue, or a roommate that has a major health issue. Or in my case, I suffer quite a bit from depression. And there are days when I can't get out of bed. I've lost jobs because of it, because I just didn't care enough to get out of bed. I'll still answer my phone. And there have been times when I've answered my phone. You guys are I'm lying in bed still. But what's nice about this business is if something like that comes up, it's okay, because you can still keep going. You're not going to get fired from DAC like you would your job if you didn't show up for a week. But you have the ability to go and, you can just keep on going. And you just have to go and, like I said, forgive yourself if you have a bad day. You just keep on going. And
I will say this, Harlequin, I've suffered from depression myself, and it's been some time, but it is debilitating when you're going through it, and you can't will your way out of it sometimes. So thank you for sharing that, because there's other people who may be struggling, and feel like they're on an island themselves, and there's nothing they can do, and they're just never going to make it because of it. And here you are, while battling with that, you're an agent of the month, and you're serving clients and helping them get funding, and you're serving agents, and you're getting on Facebook and you're helping people. And so even with that struggle, you're not only surviving, but you're thriving. So we tip our hat to you, and we believe in prayer. So we'll be praying for you and for anyone else. But you're right, we don't know what people are dealing with. And boy, what a thank you for being transparent. It's a beautiful thing. And we got your back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, because I have some team members who have been going through rehab that, you know, one of them was paralyzed. Another one has been in the hospital and in rehab for a long time, and they're still out there doing things. Yes. So, you know, you just have to understand people have situations. And, you know, I know myself, I haven't been doing as much recruiting over the last year because of that. So, but things have gotten better. So you're going to see more of that from me. But, you know, you just have to, you do what you can do, plain and simple.
Right on. You do what you can do. And it doesn't matter whether it's the father at home with 4 kids, single dad, and he's got to get to volleyball and basketball and baseball and school and cook food and all that, and try to build his business, or the single mom or this person in the middle of a divorce, and they can't even imagine, you know, living life, let alone working a business or a job that's making you stressed. We all have circumstances. And like we talked about in the Super Saturday book, as Nick Saban says, and that's where those 2 pages come from, Nick Saban's leadership speech, he said, it is the process that we must focus on, not the outcome. And if we don't worry about the outcome, because sometimes the outcome is not going to give you what you want yet, but if we focus on the process, living it every day as a habit, then we'll eventually get the outcomes. And also the circumstances. He talks a lot. Are you gonna let your feelings stop you, or is the process gonna forward you? If you commit to the process as a habit, whether you feel like it or not, you still just do it. Sometimes I don't feel like brushing my teeth in the morning because I'm tired and I want to go run off and do something else or go back to bed or whatever. You still got to brush your teeth, right? So what is the habit of this business? What does that process look like that we need to stick to instead of the feelings? So as Nick Saban says, are you gonna let your circumstances stop you? Because if so, you'll never make it, because there's always circumstances. There's always something that makes it inconvenient and difficult and hard for 100% of the people on this planet. Human nature is to stay comfortable, not to be a high achiever. Human nature is to seek comfort, not to put yourself out there and risk. That takes effort. That takes commitment. That takes dedication. That takes a goal. And Harlequin's going for something, right? She's wanting to resolve her retirement situation. She's wanting to help businesses. She wants to help all of you be stars. That's what drives her. So even when she's debilitated with this depression, she still sticks to the process, and she'll answer her phone, whether she's in her beautiful dress with her hair done and the stars hanging. She's still a star maker because she's sticking to the habit. So congratulations to you, Harlequin, because you're an example of what Nick Saban talks about. Continue. I'm sorry.
I've actually met him. I've got his signature. Awesome. Yeah. At the College Football Hall of Fame.
So talk a little bit. I know we're going to go to some questions in a minute, but I know you were really passionate about sharing about associations and going through associations and networking with associations as a way to develop clientele. And I think there's some people that can really benefit from that who've never done it and maybe don't know how to do it. So why don't you touch on that?
Well, the first thing when you're going out networking, and there's all different types of groups that you can network with. The biggest thing that I would suggest is make sure you know what you're talking about, because you only get to make one first impression. And I go to a lot of different types of networking groups. Like last night, this was from last night. I went to the Cobb Chamber event. These are the people that I met last night. So, you can meet a bunch of people at these events, but you have to know what you're talking
Before
about.
you continue, did your experience with people know to show the cards and get rid of them quick?
Yes.
Yes, because
Matt is horrific about stealing phone numbers.
Matt Dehame is screenshotting and calling them, right? Just as a joke, right? Yes, I know. It's happened to me too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I
I'm
know
sorry.
it has.
Yeah.
But
Love it.
anyways, one of the things about networking, though, it is a longer term solution. And, we can all do things, like Facebook posts and talk to friends and family and things like that, and social media, or going out and meeting businesses. But with networking, it does take sometimes a longer time to close those deals. But the thing is, whenever they are ready and they need that funding, they already know you, they like you, they trust you. So you've developed a relationship with them. And always make sure that when you're talking to people in an association or a networking setting, find out what it is that they do. And as we're out in the community, we run into potential clients for them. Make sure you refer those people to them. But a lot of people, when you go to a networking event, there's different types, but in some types, there's a setting where you get to go and give your elevator speech, and you need to practice it and know it backwards and forwards. I mean, somebody can go and call me up in the middle of the night, wake me up out of a sound sleep and say, "What is it that you do, Harlequin?" And I can tell them, from a dead sleep. And you need to get to that point, because that's when people will know that you know what you're talking about. But one of the things that I was thinking about, whenever you're doing something like that, ask them to go and, instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, I do business funding," do something more like, "Hey, I want you to go and dream with me for a minute. What if you had an extra month's worth of income for your business to go and use it to expand your business? What would you use that for? Would you buy a new vehicle? Or use a down payment on a new vehicle? Or would you get some additional marketing that's going to bring more clients to you? Would you get a mentor or a coach so that you can help expand your business?" But whenever you're talking to business owners, find out what industry they're in and find out what their pain points are. And I wrote down a couple here. Like for a medical practice, right now, a huge issue for them, it's always been an issue, but is their insurance accounts receivable. During COVID, everybody was working from home, so they got behind on processing insurance claims. And I had one of my first line of credit client. They were only collecting $30,000 or $40,000 a month in revenue, but they had $189,000 worth of accounts receivable. So that's one good one. With construction, right now, their biggest issue is getting their supplies. They've got, sometimes they're having to order it 3-6 weeks, sometimes even 6 months in advance. They have to pay for it up front, because otherwise they won't put their name on the list to get it. So that's tying up all their working capital. So that's what they're needing money for. Trucking. Right now, everybody needs trucks to deliver things, but trucks break down. So they need money for that. In retail, they need help with marketing. And also they're having supply issues. They can't get the inventory to sell it. So just think of think of the pain point of the industry of the person you're talking to, and help them see how that can help them.
So when you're there, when you're at these association meetings and you see there's over there's 4 people that own a print shop, and there's people that own a restaurant, and there's people over there that own a transportation company, and there's some bank managers, and and you give your elevator pitch, if you will. In other words, you share what you believe about what we do. I'm not a pitch person. People call me a pitch man. No, I do promote what I believe in. So hopefully we all only promote what we believe in. Then you're not pitching anything, but nothing wrong with a pitch word. I was a pitcher in baseball, but I don't like being viewed as pitch person, because I see the person on TV trying to talk you into buying, whether it's good for you or not. Maybe that's just a bad mindset I have about sales, right? But I love promoting what I believe in. I love sharing what I believe in. So when you do your elevator belief moment and you share what you believe about what you're doing, and educate people on what you do, what happens from there? Some of these people have never been to a chamber. What happens from there? How do you know who to talk to? Do you wait for people to come to you? Are you listening when they're giving their presentation? Are you seeing, oh, I want to get to know them better because they're in an industry I can help? Or I may be able to help them with something unrelated to funding and give them, just bless them with some assistance in their business. Has nothing to do with what I do, just to build a friendship. What's going through your mind as they're talking, and what's going through your mind after you talk?
Okay, well, yeah, as you said, whenever you go into a networking event, there's different types and they have different setups. If it's one where everybody is giving their little elevator speech, they usually do a little bit of networking before they do the elevator speeches, and then they do more networking. So beforehand, just go and try and meet as many people as you can. Just get to know who's in that audience. If you know who's in charge of the group, go to that person and say, hey, who here should I meet? Who's a networker, or who's a connector, more than a networker. But and then as you're sitting in the meeting, I'll share with you this. I go and I take down notes. This was one of the events that I went to. Let's see if you can see that. I took down names of everybody who attended and what industry they were in, and I put a star next to them. That's somebody I want to talk to. So I make a point of going in afterwards in the networking, try and meet, some of them get a check mark, some get a star, so it's like, okay, I prioritize who do I want to talk to, just in case that person that I'm like, that's exactly who I want to talk to. They might have said something about, hey, we're trying to grow or whatever. And I'm going to make a beeline to that person, because I don't want to miss that opportunity in case they have to leave early, and then go through and meet some of the other people.
Okay, so when that's done, if you don't meet everybody, that's why you have those business cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long do you wait before you start following up with them? And did you email them, call them, text them? What do you do?
You can do any or all of the above. And you can, I'm bad about following up because I meet so many people. I've had some people go, and when they leave the event, they sit in their car and they send text messages to everybody that they met that day at that event. So you can start following up immediately. It just depends upon what your schedule is, what your timeline is. Texting is always good. Email, you don't get quite as much response. Phone calls are also really good. I'm more of a in-person or phone call type person. I hate sending out emails. I'm not going to lie. I despise them, just because I don't want to have to go and write everything up. But you can follow up whenever. But the other thing that I wanted to mention is there's different types of groups. Yes, you have your chambers of commerce, you have your associations, but there's if you go and do a Google search for your community and just type in, like in my case, business associations near me, I live in Atlanta, so there's a ton of them. But even in smaller communities, there might be one for your city, your county. The county that I live in, I think there's 15 different associations just in my county. The other thing is you can go and look for industry specific groups. Realtors are a huge group that they get together and network with different people. I was at a realtor networking event last night or the night before. Cobb Chamber was last night. But so you can go and look up, there's plumbers groups, there's groups for just about any type of industry you can think of, and find an industry that you feel comfortable with, that the lingo. If it's an industry that you've worked in the past, you're going to have a better chance because you can relate to them. You know what they're talking about. In construction, you understand that the lead times that they're running into and the challenges with getting licenses and permits and stuff like that. So choose an industry that you know something about. It could be retail stores because you go shopping all the time.
Sure.
So
let me throw a thought in real quick. At my chamber, we have a bank manager there who's there regularly and wants me to move our business bank to them. Right. So his motive every time I'm talking to him is trying to get me to move my deposits to him. And he's never going to get it because of that. It's his only motive. His motive isn't helping my business. His motive is getting my business. And so he'll never get it. I will purposely change banks to someone else before him because he's not trying to serve me. He's trying to use me as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And I say this because some of us on here are looking to go to these events to get customers, to get clients. And although in the end, that is an outcome we want to have, if we lead with that, you'll be like the bank manager trying to get my deposits, right? And they will never use you, even if they need funding. But if you go there, folks, and you're there to meet and help, like Harlequin said, she's trying to help our business owners be stars. If you're going there really trying to help them, and that's not always our capital, and sometimes it's a conversation and a deferring to the SBA, or sometimes it's a conversation and deferring to friends and family for funding, or sometimes it's a conversation deferring to their bank. Other times it's a conversation that's not I can help get you some customers right now, but getting you money is not the right thing. But I know someone holding a wedding and they might be able to use your hall, and let me connect them to you. Serve those business owners. What if they're a print shop? Use them if you need to get printing done, or refer them to someone. Constantly send them stuff that has nothing to do with your funding, so that you can show that you really are trying to serve them. And when and if they have a funding need, they'll call on everyone. No one else in the world but you. So don't go in getting customers. Go in serving business owners. And if it happens to include your capital, good for you. You'll get so many referrals. You'll get so much business that way. But if you go the other way, you'll get none. You'll just beat yourself blue in all the meetings you go to. And I can't get any clients. Well, maybe because you're trying to get clients. Go there to meet and serve business owners. And I know you do that, Harlequin, but I need to say that because you got me thinking about a bank manager. It's really offensive to me how often I don't even want to see him anymore at the chambers, because all he's trying to do is get me in something. So don't be that person, folks. Go ahead, Harlequin.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with that, because I had a conversation with one of my agents. He met one-on-one with somebody, which that's another good idea. Whenever you meet somebody at an event, you can't really talk to them in depth. Schedule a time to either do a phone call, a Zoom, meet in person for a cup of coffee, whatever it is. But he met with this person, and all she talked about was getting him to sign up for her program. So, and he's like, I am never going to talk to her again. It was
Yeah,
that
if you go
bad.
in, if you go in, when I go, I don't go often. I need to go more, actually. Thank you for this, Harlequin, because I'm going to go to more chambers. I go in, when I do go, I always try to be the guy or the gal, and in your case, who helps more businesses than anyone. And I'm not talking about with funding, who refers them more clients, more customers than anyone, who connects them with someone more than anyone else. I want to be the one that they go, I appreciate that dude because he really is helping my business. And because I don't even have to at that point mention capital, right? So I got 2 calls the other night from clients who neither one of them fit, but both of them came from someone I'm helping. Their business. I'm helping them with their business with clients, and they sent me 2 funding clients. Neither one of them fit, but the bottom line is he's talking about me to his network because I'm helping him, and that wasn't my motive. My motive was to help the business. So go in when someone's a restaurant and they're talking about you, someone's having a birthday party. Say, hey, my mom's having a birthday party. Maybe she'll host it at your place. I'm going to send her your information. Do you mind? And send an email to both of them or text both of them. I just want to introduce you to. Boom! You just made a connection. In the networking groups, and some of the networking groups, and I'll shut up here. This is Harlequin, not me. Some of the networking groups, they actually get points. They give you points if you create a connection, and they keep track of who's got the most points. Well, forget the points. I mean, do it for the relationships and do it for being a star maker and helping them out. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. Be a servant leader, and commissions will chase you down. Go ahead, Harlequin. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
talk about the banking. You're going to talk about banking relationships.
Okay. Well, you brought up something that reminded me, there are groups like a BNI group is a very well-known one where you have a meeting every single week and you have to bring leads to everybody. I personally am not a huge fan because with those you have attendance requirements. And it's the same people all the time. Yes, people bring guests and stuff, but that is a good group. Go and attend. They'll let you attend a couple of times, but whoever invites you, say, hey, look, I know that sometimes when you can't attend, you need a replacement to fill in for you, and become a replacement person. Because that way you don't have to pay the
don't have to pay the big bucks.
Yeah, it's expensive to join it. So anyway.
Can you cover, while you mentioned that, can you cover what the DAC reimbursement plan is?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you go and if you're a member of an association that you pay for and you get $100,000 worth of funded value from that organization, then DAC will reimburse you up to $500 for the cost of your membership. So definitely want to keep that in mind. But one of the things you mentioned the banking and, having contacts with them. One of the things that I will tell you, it is not for the new person who doesn't know what they're talking about. Because a banker will chew you up and they won't talk, they'll never call you if you come across as not knowing about what you're talking about. So, but that being said, if you do have the knowledge and you know what you're talking about and you have the ability to go and make a connection. I have one banker that I met 2 months ago. He's already sent me, I think, 5 potential clients, and I've talked to him about their bank becoming a master agent with our funding partner, and he's like, nope, he's like, I like what we're doing, I'm just going to send it all to you. And I was like, okay, well, I appreciate that commission, but anyways, it's a newer bank. But one of the things that I wanted to that I always get from agents is, where do I find leads? Okay.
Wait, before you go there, Harlequin, I know you want to cover this and I want you to too. Before you go there, you said something, you got to be ready before you talk to a bank. And some people are going, okay, I have the desire, but I'm not ready. What do I need to know to be ready? If you could give 3 or 4 bullet points to make sure you understand this, and this, okay, then you're ready to talk to banks. What would those bullet points be?
Okay. You need to know, like on our, on the sheets for the,
Quick reference sheets.
the quick reference sheets, you need to know that information backwards and forwards. You need to know what the requirements are for the Bank Breezy funding, for the DAC funding, for the line of credit. And now that we're going to have our, I'm calling it micro businesses, or so, self-employed people, you need to know what all of those requirements are. You need to know what type of rates they're going to be, rates for the line of credit, the factors for the others, because the bankers are going to ask you those questions. You need to know, okay, this is the range that it's going to cost the client, because you don't want the banker to go and say, oh yeah, you can get the money from them. And then they come back to them and say, oh, that was way too expensive for what I'm doing. You want them to know, because they'll know what it is the person is looking to do. So they'll know if it's going to be worthwhile for them or not. And you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you have a banker recommending something that's not appropriate for that particular client. But
okay, so the quick reference sheet backward and forward. That's it, right? I mean, that's really all you need to know. You need to know the application process. You need to know how long it takes, what they can get approved for. But that's all on the quick reference sheet. And one more thing I'd say that I think that if you go in complimenting what the bank does for business owners, then serves people we can't serve with pricing we can't provide, we're not competing with them. If you let a banker know, I'm not here to compete with you, I want to have a relationship so I can refer you people who can qualify with you to get much better pricing than I can give them, but also to help you take care of your clients who can't get approved through you. Some of them fit our model. Some of them fit perfectly with us. So if you understand who we can help and how much it's going to cost, you'll know when to refer people. Harlequin just said something. Hopefully you caught it. No manager wants to refer a client to somebody, put their client through extra work to have pricing that they thought was crazy. So the banker wants to know before they refer, just like you don't want to refer someone and think they're going to get bank rates and they're not. And your neighbor's going, why do you have me go through that whole process for that pricing? The bank manager doesn't want pie on their face either. So they want to know the pricing because they want to know who they should refer. And they also want to know that you're not going to be out there talking bad about the bank. Talk good about the bank. The bank is there for the right people. The top 20%, man, you need to go to your bank. In fact, I got a banker right here you can talk to if you don't have one, and refer them some clients now and then. Have them get a text and go, Joe Blow, Dave just told me about you, that you might be able to get me a long-term, property loan on my business. Man, they're like, wow, this is two-way. And so be a pro and you'll be treated like a pro. And being a pro means you refer people and you receive referrals with professionalism, not in a greedy, I'm going to get one, I'm going to get a client. That's immature, go market, Kool-Aid, because only kids are going to be willing to deal with you because they're thirsty. Anyone else is not interested. I've never said that. I'm going to use that forevermore. Market Kool-Aid. Go ahead. Sorry, Harlequin. Go ahead.
That's okay. Well, one of the other things is, and this applies to when you have a banker referring you, but also whenever you have a client, set the expectation. If somebody comes to you and says, you tell them, oh yeah, we do funding up to $2 million. And they're like, oh great, I need $1 million for this project. And they're making $10,000 a month. They're never going to get it. So let them know that up front. It's like, you're making $10,000, you might get 7,500 at most. Or, even if they're looking for 100,000, they're never going to get it through DAC. So you have to set the expectation and let them know, okay, this is what's possible. And, if $10,000 will help you today, great, then go ahead and apply. But if you really, if you have to have 100,000 and 10,000 is not going to get you what you need to do, then don't even bother applying.
Don't waste your time. Right.
Anyways, but one of the things I wanted to, for new agents and also for existing agents, stop and think and look at your town and pretend you've never stepped foot in your town before. Who do you need to know that's going to connect you to the people that you need to know? Or, who can you meet, that can connect you? Have you talked to the mayor? Which I just spoke to the mayor of a city north of me. But, speak to the mayor. Speak to, go to the local SBA office. Go to, local churches. Go to the pastor. They know who the leaders are in the community because they go to them as well, and network that way. And the
Right.
other thing that I do, the two different things. This is my little notebook, and you can see this. I write down, sorry, it's backwards, but I keep this in my car. I track my mileage, which is deductible, people. You go 10 miles to an event and come back, you get to deduct, I think it's $5.40 right now, or $5.60, something like that.
$5.40 each way.
Yeah.
$5.40 each way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it adds up. I mean, there have been times when I've had $10,000 worth of income that I got to deduct because of mileage. But on the other side, as I'm driving around, if I'm at a stoplight and I see a truck next to me that's got their name and their phone number on there, I write it down. You can also go, and if you don't want to go driving around, go sit at a local gas station at lunchtime or after work. And all those trucks are going to be coming in, or you can sit on the corner and just write the names down as they go by. Another place that you can go is, and I've talked about this before, your local library. You can go in, and most libraries now you can get online access. And there is in the reference area, they usually have access to Data Axle. It used to be Reference USA, and that it's free to access it. You can go in and you can do a search based on zip code, area. You can do 10 miles around you. You can look for a certain industry. You can look for revenue size, number of employees. You can go and do a search for all different parameters and find businesses that you want to contact.
What is the name of that again? Did you say Data?
It's called Data Axle, AXLE.
Data Axle.
Yeah. And by doing it through your library, it's free because they charge a huge amount of money to get access to that if you don't do it that way. Okay,
so now let's stop for 1 minute here. You've talked about associations, you've talked about bank relationships, you've talked about making sure you know front and back on that quick reference sheet. And by the way, I'd say that when you're going into Chamber of Commerce meetings, you need to know that too, because you're going to get asked and you want to steer people who don't fit. You've talked about how to go generate more leads, write down, keep a notebook, keep track of your mileage, keep track of, sit in a Home Depot and write down truck names that come in, gas stations. There's always target clients you can get to know and help all around you. Your neighborhood's got lawn crews, whatever. You write them all down, guys, gals. But Data Axle, that's interesting. So you can go in and have a circumference of an area. When we say color your town blue, make sure everyone in your town knows who you are. What a great way to get all access to write that, other than just going into their restaurant or their laundromat or whatever. Another great thing. So we're winding down here. I know you had an agenda you wanted to cover. So is there anything else you want to talk about or encourage before we go to questions?
Yeah, two quick things. One is something that I got from Eric Worre, who does the GoPro. I've been doing his mentorship program. Plan, do, review. Plan what you're going to do it, and then review it. So say you're going to make phone calls. When you first get started, or if you're doing a YouTube video or a TikTok, whatever it happens to be, or you go to a networking event, once you do it, especially when you first get started, take the time, sit down and review. Okay, how did that go? How did people respond to the way that I told them what I do? Or what questions did they ask me that, maybe next time I can go and include those answers in what I tell somebody, so they don't have to ask the question. Did I say something that they were like, oh, wow, that's exactly what I need? Or did they say, oh, yeah, true, it may be because they don't really need it or whatever, but pay attention to how people react to what you're saying so that you can go and improve on it each and every time. The other thing is, who are you listening to? Put yourself in a position to learn from the experts. Watch the training here at DAC, but also do personal development. I'm super excited. I have an opportunity through the thing with Eric. Tony Robbins is going to be in Las Vegas next month. And there's going to be 250 people there. I get to be one of those 250 people live in person for free. So super excited about that. But the thing is, also don't go and listen to the negative. If people are putting you down, you need to put the positive in, eliminate the negative. And there are times when you have friends and family who are like, oh, what are you doing? That, nobody wants money, for their business. So that's too much. Don't, listen to the people who are being positive to you, because I've had, in the past, my family has been, when I initially told them that I got into network marketing, they're like, oh, Harlequin, go get a real job. That was the first thing my dad said to me. But, listen to things that are going to help you rather than hurt you. And, just like I said, keep putting positive into your life, because you're going to be a whole lot happier.
Amen. Amen. Okay. Well, great stuff. Wade's got his hand up. I know Wade wants to share something. Go ahead, Wade. What do you got to share with us, baby?
So I'm last Friday on Good Friday. Good Friday, we're off. I'm laying at the pool in Hilton Head, overlooking the ocean, on a float, drinking an adult beverage, enjoying life, and the phone rings. And I jump out to pick it up because I knew what it was, I saw who it was. And my brother-in-law said, "You're taking business calls?" I said, "Listen, there's a handful of people that have my phone number. They know who they are, that I would even consider taking this call while I'm out here with my family." And Harlequin was one of them. And it was a very, very good call. It was a call that we had a client on with. And I can tell you, she does an amazing job with every one of her clients. They're very educated on what we're talking about. It's not like sometimes when I get on the call, they have no idea what the heck what is this? What is this that I'm trying to sign up for? So, but Harlequin, I have a lot of respect for you. I really appreciate the conversations that we have, because I know that, and you get me. You don't get upset whenever I'm saying, "Listen, I got 2 minutes. Tell me the short version. Let's move this thing along." And you are total professional, and I really appreciate it. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you, Wade. And I appreciate the fact that you're willing to take my calls when you're in the pool.
With an adult beverage. All right.
Yeah. Well, you got to have that.
And we got Ellen Wynn as well, multiple Agent of the Month winner, great friend of Harlequin Murray. And Ellen, what do you got to say?
Hey, great job, Harlequin. Awesome job today. And again, I always say thank you for saying yes when the opportunity and timing was right with DAC. Hey, I get the luxury of talking with Harlequin on a daily basis, and I feel very blessed with that. I've just watched her blossom and really take her business to the next level. I'm so proud of you for that, Harlequin. One of the things that you shared with me recently and have done on multiple occasions was you're keeping your eye out for trade show events in your area, because those trade shows have business owners that are there, their captive audience, because they are running a booth. Can you talk a little bit about how you keep an eye out for those and what you do and how you introduce yourself if you're visiting those owners at a trade show event? I think that'll be helpful for everyone.
Yeah, and thank you. And Ellen, thank you for asking me to join DAC. I have learned so much from you, and I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. But thank you for reminding me of that. I had forgotten about that. Yeah, I look to see what's going on in the community. I'm very fortunate and blessed in that a mile down the road is a major venue for trade shows. So I try and keep an eye on what's going on in there. The two associations that I'm currently a member of is the Cobb Chamber, which is my local county chamber, and the Greater Atlanta Home Builders Association. And like one of the ones that Ellen is talking about, there was a home show, which there's multiple home shows a year here in the Atlanta market. I'm blessed that we have those. But because I'm a member of the Home Builders Association, when I go in there, I was talking to him, I don't own a home, I live in an apartment. So I'm not their potential client. So I didn't want to upset them by coming across as, oh yeah, this is, I want you to get funding from me or financing or, customer financing, whatever. But I told him, I said, oh, by the way, are you a member of the Home Builders Association? Because it's something that might help your business. And I've got several people who are interested in joining that. But also, try and talk to them and relate to them and let them know that, hey, this is something that I have available. I'm not going to take your time away from meeting your client, potential clients. If they have a bunch of people around them, I'll just go and grab one of their cards and try and contact them later. But I'm not going to interrupt. The big thing is don't interrupt their presentation to a potential client, because that will get them turned off of you in a heartbeat. But there's all different types of associations, and now that things are opening up a little bit more, and there's more trade shows, I'm probably going to be doing more of that. But
beautiful. So you've got a captive audience there, right? You've got a captive audience, and as long as you handle yourself with professionalism, like you're talking about, Harlequin, I love your code of ethics with it, basically, or your method of operation. You're being honest. You're not acting like you're interested in the roofing product so that they'll get to know you, and then you're going to call them later and try to get them a loan. But you are letting them know there's other things they can do. You happen to be there as an associate member. I love it. And you never know who can help with, if you go by and you see they're not offering financing, it's a great thing to say, hey, by the way, I see you're not offering financing for your gutters. Do you offer it or no? Because, we might be able to help you with that. You can see things, there's clues. All right, we've got a couple more people here. We've got PK, another former agent of the month. What do you got, PK?
Hey, David, I just, wanted to give a shout out to Harlequin. I loved every single thing that she talked about. I've got to let you know, for her to be so transparent and say the things that she said, she's really got the gift of encouragement. And there are many times, that she's reached out to me and made phone calls to me to cheer me up on, personal matters. And, she can just call you and just, give you that little boost. Just like what she was talking about, like if you didn't work for a week or you didn't work for 2 weeks or something, like she's got that gift of just, getting you out of your funk. And I love that about her. And I love that she says her age when she doesn't look a day over fabulous. She's remarkable. She's a really, really hard worker. I appreciate everything she said. And I really liked the way she talked about the networking group, about make sure that if you're going to speak at these things that you do your training and know what you're saying, because yeah, you really can embarrass yourself. You can embarrass DAC. You can embarrass, like what she said, the bankers. You can just really open up a whole can of worms if you did not take the time to do the training. And I'm so glad that she's reiterating all of this stuff. And I know that my agents are watching this. And as a matter of fact, I had a meeting with one of my agents yesterday, and she's a realtor, and I'm going to her realtors networking event. And I said, it's my job to help you get your first funding. So if you'd like, I'll do the presentation at the networking event the first time, and then you keep doing it afterwards. And then I'll be there with you when you go. And I love the way like Harlequin's just like really telling all the brand new agents this stuff. And I just really appreciate you, Harlequin. You're a really good friend. You really are. And you're a sharp woman. You really are. You've got great integrity. I love the way you answer the Facebook. I love the way you answer the Facebook. I'm glad I'm not answering the Facebook, because I would be like, again, I love how professional you are. You're just amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patricia. I appreciate you, and I appreciate our friendship more than anything. And you give a lot to me as well. So thank you for that.
I'm
definitely going to visit you, Harlequin. I'm definitely going to come visit you.
Okay.
Love DAC. Love DAC. Love all the love. Matt DeHame, another former agent of the month. What do you got for it? Multiple winner. Yes, Matthew.
I didn't say anything. Hey there, Harlequin. There you are. I can see you now. Congratulations again for your multiple, agent of the month presentation. And that was you're a really courageous woman. Thank you for sharing your story. You show a lot of people what this is about. It's about courage and integrity, and you bring everything. You bring so much to the table here. I was listening to some of the advice you just gave to the team. It was invaluable, and you're awesome. And it was must have been tough growing up, going here or there and being dragged around. You're a military brat, right? They say that word, but I mean, you've that also has probably helped you a lot. And that's a word. I listen to you and I keep thinking the word that keeps popping in my mind is perspective. That's what you've gained through your, from your experience, not your circumstance in life, but you're bringing that to this, and now you're applying it. And I agree with you. You found the thing that's going to help you through, and you don't look 60. I mean, in the next few years, you're going to have, you're piling up, you just put it this way. Good thing you met Ellen Wynn. Good thing she did bring you on to this team and this family. So God bless you, and I'm so happy to know you. Congratulations to you,
Thank you, Matt. And thank you for sharing, because what you're able to do on the phone with people. You took time out when I first got started to go and have a personal call with me, which I know now you may not have the time to do that, but you took the time to help me. And I appreciate that, because that was one of the things that kept me going when things were bad. So thank you.
God is good.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, we have another agent of the month who wanted to chime in. Erica Sillison. How you doing, Erica?
I'm doing good, thank you. How about you guys?
We're
Hey,
all good.
Congratulations again. I know that it's been like kind of a haul for you at times. But I admire your courage, when you were younger, and your ability to adapt as a single mom and being divorced myself. I know that the chaos that can throw people into, especially, when you're a bit younger. And I just know how consistent you've been, and I really appreciate that, and always able to answer people's questions, always able to, I know you were saying Matt took time out for you, while you were taking time out for me more recently to help kind of with some training and recruiting and things like
Cool.
that. You know, I'm forever grateful for just anybody that's willing to help like that. So I just want to say, you know, congratulations. I think you do have a lot coming for you, and I appreciate you being in this business with us all. And yeah, so congratulations again, and I hope lots comes of it for you. And I love all the changes coming up, David. I think it's going to be amazing. So thank you.
Absolutely. And actually, one thing I want to add, because you reminded me of something. I get, and I'm sure that most of the other agents of the month, especially, or any of the leaders in the company, people are sending us friend requests on Facebook, and I don't always accept those, and I'm going to explain why. If you're not on my team, if I'm posting something about DAC, it's going to show up on your timeline, and vice versa. If you post something about DAC, and I don't want one of your friends to go and click on my link and I get the sale for it rather than you, and vice versa. So sometimes people get upset whenever I don't accept your friend request. Follow me instead, and feel free to send me a private Facebook message, but that's why I don't always accept friend requests from people who are not on my team.
Integrity, integrity, integrity. Good stuff. Follow. If you follow, you don't have to worry about that. All right, we've got another agent of the month on, Nicholas DeHame. How you doing, Nick?
Good, good. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Harlequin, congratulations. What an awesome interview. Just very, very valuable information for me. I'm talking for myself. I mean, being here in Argentina, I am going up. I will be moving up, and my intention is to be part of these networking events. So this was just golden nuggets, great information, and for new agents coming aboard and joining DAC, they now know what to do, where to go, and what to apply to these events. It's tremendous. It's just like you said, these networking events, based on what you said, it's the credibility and the trust you build at these events is invaluable. So it's priceless. So thank you for that information. What a great interview. And also an example for all new agents. If you watch Harlequin's agent of the month, first agent of the month, she was already a professional there. But what's very inspirational watching her today, and you just throughout the 1 year period, you can see how much she has even more evolved into a DAC professional, and all the knowledge she has accumulated throughout that period, being consistent, doing the work, going through the process. And throughout 1 year period, she's now someone at a different level that has knowledge that could help thousands of people out. And it's an inspiration to me, to everyone else, just showing what you can accomplish going through a process if you just stick through. And congratulations, Harlequin.
Well, thank you, Nick. I appreciate that, and appreciate you and what you teach everybody as well. You bring a lot to the table, and watch out to everybody in the town whenever you move up here and are in person, because I know you're going to paint the town blue wherever you end up here. So, and let me know where you land, because I'll come visit you.
There you go. I love it. And isn't it nice, Harlequin? You see his wisdom. What he recognized in you is because he's also living it, right? He's on the phone with so many clients. He's grown so much. And you pretty much don't have a question now that he can't answer, because he's been living this business like you. And there's a well inside you, as I said earlier, there's a well of experience in you before DAC and with DAC that I can ask you a question And it's just a prompting of something that you go into the well and you come out with knowledge, and it's through experience. Experiential knowledge is completely different than book knowledge, and you've got the experiential knowledge. So I'm glad you talked about the associations and the networking, because you do such a great job. Well, we don't have any other questions, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to say your last words to anyone watching, and then I got a couple things as we wrap up.
Okay, well, first off, I want to say thank you to everybody who nominated me. I truly appreciate it, and I'm truly humbled by it. But, the main thing is we have an opportunity here to help business owners and to help ourselves and to develop a team. But, some of us choose to, in my case, I do a lot of networking. In Matt and Nick's case, they do a lot of work over the phone. Shantae does social media. Some people go and knock on doors. What's nice is any one of those options will work, and we can point to people who have had success in every single one of those options. The trick is to find out what you feel most comfortable with. Some people have, physical limitations. They can't go out in person, so they have to do some stuff from home. Choose what it is that you feel most comfortable with, or that resonates the most with you. If, myself sitting on the phone all day, every day, I can't do it. But find what works for you. And again, plan, do, review. Help your, modify your approach if you're not having enough success, or ask your upline person or a team leader, and say, hey, would you mind listening to me and tell me what I'm saying wrong? Or can you give me some tweaks to help improve it? But the biggest thing is don't quit, because we've got so many different things coming on board. When I first got started, it took me, a year and a half to get my first funding. I did have other clients with some of our other products that we offered in the past. And, I still have some of those clients. So, it may take you a little while. Now, keep in mind too, that we didn't have the Bank Breezy program or the line of credit or customer financing. Those are a little bit easier sometimes than the DAC funding, only because it's a bigger business. And some people feel more comfortable, talking to smaller business owners, or solopreneurs. Go with what's your comfort level and build up. But like I said, the main thing is just keep going, keep doing it, and have fun.
All right. Well, great stuff, Harlequin. We appreciate you've brought a lot of wisdom to the table. It's foolish to give the microphone or the attention to a fool, because, in the Bible, it says it's like chewing on, it's like drinking poison, right? It's just that bad. We trust you with everything. We trust your answers on Facebook. We appreciate you. We'd love you to have the microphone anytime you want it, because you always bring a depth of wisdom and integrity, and we appreciate that in you for certain. So thank you for that. Thank you for all you do behind the scenes that we don't see, and all you do that we do. We can't be happier to have you part of the family, and we're looking forward to helping you check that box of your goals for your retirement, making that a reality. And we'll be praying for you as well as you struggle through this depression. You're obviously a persevering superstar, and you're a star maker, and it's a great team. So God bless you, and thank you, Harlequin. Great stuff. Give her a hand, everybody. Yeah.
David, thank you for this opportunity.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you. All right, I just have a couple things I want to end with, guys. Don't forget, we've got the and I was looking for the proverb of that, and I couldn't find it fast enough, so that's why I butchered it, but it was the same concept. I think it's in 25 or something. But anyway, I will say that the most important thing I want you to take from this is you can see the well of wisdom she's got, and she's willing to keep doing her part and doing her thing and persevering regardless of what's going on in her home life. And she's being successful because of it, because of that perseverance. So take from that, borrow from that, lean on that when you're going through your own struggles, lean on that. And, just stay the course, focus on the process, not the outcome. The outcome will chase you down eventually if you continue to be diligent with the process. May 1st is coming, guys. You can expect to see a lot of rapid updates from social squares. We're going to be pulling down a lot of the material you have today. If you've got old social posts, don't use them. If you've got old videos that you downloaded, delete them. All those things are being refreshed. So anything prior to 5.1 is going to become, most of it's going to become outdated and old pretty quick. So some of your access, you're asking for access to the Bank Breezy files on the drive right now. It's not going to be granted. Those are all being pulled, and we're adding new stuff for y'all. So just kind of hang tight. We're in a changeover pattern. But 5.1, when we pull that trigger, it's only a week away. We expect to have a lot of new things for you, and then more coming. But I'm excited. I think it's really the next phase of our business. It's like we're getting into orbit. We finally learned how to take off. We learned how to orbit the Earth or fly around the Earth. Then we learned how to reach space. And now we're going to the moon. I mean, this next step is a new frontier for us because we're going to be accessing clientele we were never able to before in an automated fashion for all of you. And it's going to become the demanded product to have. People are going to want access to Bank Breezy. I don't know of anyone else doing what we're doing, from the entry level to the top level in revenue-based funding with an online application, 100% online. I don't know anyone else doing it. That doesn't mean they're not, but I don't know of anyone else. And I can tell you this, we don't intend to just be the first mover. We intend to become the status quo, the brand, where you go. If you need business funding, if it's not your bank, you go to Bank Breezy. That's where you go. How do you get there? Through your DAC agent or some other company that you refer to Bank Breezy, because we are the only ones who have it right now. There's other companies that are coming through some of our reps. So other companies that are coming through some of our reps, agents, that means you're going to benefit from it if they're in your team. So it's the beginning of something great. 10 years from now, you'll be able to say, I was there when they were developing those parts. And I saw Quicken Mortgage become Quicken Mortgage, then become Rocket Mortgage, and now become what it is now. I've seen that evolution because it started right here in our backyard. So I saw it when it was a little financial company. Now he owns the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he owns casinos all over the country. The city of Detroit is completely rebounded because of one guy, and he owns Rocket Mortgage, and he grew up here. And now the whole town is the vibe is changing because of a business that went through some evolution. That's what you guys are creating right now. And it's to help business owners, it's to fuel capitalism, and it's to do it through a home-based business that can give Harlequin and you and everyone else a way to make several six-figure incomes annually and even get there residually. So this is just part one. Well, we're finishing part one, I should say. We're moving into part two, but there's a lot of parts to this play, and you all get to play a part in it. So God bless you all. Let's rock and roll between now and Monday. Be on that leadership Zoom. There's going to be a lot of announcements. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Take care.